One mid-evening, Douglas pulled into the workstation. Toad's brakes had failed, yet he needed new ones. We're told in the works there aren't enough brake bands on the Little Western. Are there any more here? Asked Douglas. Yeah, there is one on the sidings next to the workshops. Don't worry, we have more coming tonight. So when Douglas neared one of the work sheds, he heard a voice. Oh great, it's you! Douglas looked around to see who the voice belonged to. He soon found out. You! He almost shrieked in anger. I thought you'd been scrapped. Well, I was here ever since my repairs 54 years ago. I only go on their trains for the scrapyard, which at one time a green Caterpillar light diesel pulled apart a mate of mine. That is until Geoff takes them. Well, that was an accident, and since you're the only one here, you're coming with me to the Little Western. But the Spiteful brakeman has a trick up his floorboards. He whispered to his guard. As Douglas was coupled up to him, his driver pulled the lever. But Douglas's wheels only moved very slowly. He was very annoyed. Do you want me to squash you again? But the Spiteful brakeman didn't care. Douglas gave up. Geoff was called to take the brake band to the Little Western, but to Douglas's surprise, he saw him moving quite fluently, and it made him very cross. Arlesdale is the terminus of Duck and Oliver's branch line, the Little Western, and while running passengers from the big station and back, ballast trains run as well. It's a special kind to kill weeds growing on the track, and it's only found at the Arlesdale Miniature Railway. Douglas shunted his ballast train with a Spiteful brake band in tow at the back. After his train's been loaded, he disembarked from the ballast hopper, but at a very slow pace. Come on, he groaned, but the Spiteful brake band didn't care. By the time they reached the bridge, they stopped. And Douglas's driver went back to see the guard. But the guard found nothing wrong with him. So Douglas puffed crossly away. But as their journey went on, they were delayed one after the other. You stupid brake van! Ha! Was all the van could say. As they arrived at the harbour station master wasn't happy. The ship that the ballast was to be delivered on had gone. I'll report this to the Fat Controller. But sir, burst out Douglas, it wasn't my fault. That Spiteful brick band was holding me back. No excuses, Douglas. Its guard wouldn't be that dense to screw the brig on for fun. Please shut the trucks to the siding. So Douglas did. Later that night, Douglas told Donald, Duck, and Oliver about the van. That van can get very tricky. Have you told the Fat Controller your side of the story? Asked Duck. I did, but he didn't believe me. It's my fault that he's causing this to me. If I hadn't put too much pressure on him up the hill, he wouldn't have a rivalry towards me. It was only an accident, Dougie. If he did that stuff to me, I'd teach him a lesson like I did to him when we first arrived. Douglas smiled at his brother. He then had an idea put into his funnel. The next day, he shunted a train of various goods wagons towards the van. They were needed for the morning goods train. As they were going along the Little Western, Douglas can feel the van braking. This is where he put his plan into fruition. The van skidded along the line with his brakes locked into place. "God, put the brakes off, please!" The guard tried to pull the handle, but it was jammed tight. As they pulled into the harbour yard, the van's wheels ached. "You lousy Scot! My wheels could have been melted!" "Well, that's what you get for delaying my ballast train yesterday, and for giving me the blame instead of you." The workman looked over the handle, and after that he fixed it by putting the lever back into place. "Oh, my wheels," sighed the brake van. When they head back for the Little Western, they didn't say a word. Later that day, as Douglas shunted some empty trucks, the van said in a quiet, timid voice, "I'm sorry." Douglas turned his eyes towards the Spiteful brakeman. "I'm sorry for holding a grudge against you, and I'm sorry for delaying your train yesterday." "Thank you. And I'm sorry for dragging you along my train this morning." "That's all right. You were to prove me a lesson about what comes around goes around. And I'm sorry to you as well, Mr. Guard, for forcing the brakes so Douglas can get the blame." "It's all right, but you deserve the punishment." And so Douglas and the Spiteful brakeman exchanged peace and had worked happily together. All trains had run to time, and when he was brought back to the works, they turned into good friends.